afternoon, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. I do see that there are a couple of questions that have been posted already. We've got Diane wondering how to time the Hawaii testing with the 72-hour window. I believe that that is very specific to the timing of when they leave their last connection point in the United States. So Diane, if you've got somebody that is leaving Denver, connecting through LA to go to Hawaii, it would be the 72 hours of the departure time from LA. If anybody else has any additional information on that for how to calculate the testing for going to Hawaii, jump on in and let us know. And then David is asking the current Hawaii status for vaccinated travelers. I don't know that I have seen an update recently on vaccinated travelers. It's still, you need to have the test even if you have been vaccinated.
Correct. Starting June 1st, they're thinking for inter-island travel, the vaccine may be enough, but not for mainland travel.
Even if you're vaccinated, still have the test?
Even if you're vaccinated.
Okay.
So they're attempting to roll out inter-island because now if you go to more than one island, you have to get vaccinated between each stop. But yeah, they haven't resolved that yet.
Okay. Thanks for that, Jan. Appreciate that update. I did want to tell you guys, I saw a briefing today in Travel Market Report about Texas has proposed a bill that would subject travel advisor service fees to be taxable as income or as a tax, just like a tax on a hotel room. So ASTA is taking up this fight to work with Texas on putting down this bill, that now is not the time to impose more taxes on the travel industry, but that travel agencies charge a fee as a service, not as a product. So it is not the same as a fee on a hotel room or a car rental or an airline ticket. It is a service that is being provided and should not be taxed as a sales tax on a product. So I just wanted to make you all aware that I think that there's going to be a lot of bills that are going to come up in this next year around taxes or around different things that they're going to try to get. States are looking for money. So, you know, if you are not already supporting ASTA, I really strongly recommend that you do become an ASTA member. They take up these efforts continuously. Seems like there has been one big thing after another that ASTA has been fighting for. You know, with the AB5 in California, which has spread to a lot of other states that they have been doing, just hasn't been as public as the California bill. But now the introduction of this bill in Texas, that if some of these get passed in one state, it's very easy for it to then follow over into other states. But just keep an eye on that. Please support ASTA because they do go to, you know, our defense in these advocacy efforts, and they really could use our support in standing up for us. I have seen several different things on CLIA with the cruise lines and their efforts to get the CDC to make some kind of an adjustment to the no sail order. I have not really seen any definitive answer other than they are starting to talk. So that is all very good. Excuse me. Talks are good. It at least gets them aware that this is a serious thing. The cruise industry needs to be able to return to business from U.S. ports like it's been able to return in international ports. There's a lot of cruising that is happening right now, just not in U.S. or Canadian ports. So the the health and safety precautions are in place, the protocols are there, but nothing has been adjusted with the no sail order since October, and so much, as you know, has changed since October. So cruise lines are looking to be able to resume cruising the 1st of July, but right now it would be October if nothing else changes. So one of the reasons the cruise lines are asking for a little bit more time, or the time to be moved up, is it still does take them about 90 days just to get a cruise ship ready to sail. And so if they are not able to move faster in getting the no sail of the conditional sail order lifted, it just delays their time in being able to get staffing, to get everything, itineraries and ports, and it's a lot that goes into getting that moving city up and running. So I'll continue to watch that and keep you guys updated on whatever I hear from CLIA. But if you have not gone to the CLIA website, cruising.org, they have a very easy, simple call to action that you can just put in your information with your zip code. It will automatically send the email out to your state legislators. You don't need to know who they are or which person to send it to. They have that all set up behind the scenes, very much the same way that ASTA does when ASTA has their grassroots efforts as well. Looking at our sales, I'm seeing a lot of confirmations coming through from you guys, so it is exciting. However, it seems like take a step forward or 2 steps forward and 1 step back. We are still seeing some cruise lines that are canceling some itineraries and having to go through that next round of cancellations with your client. And it does, we're still feeling that frustration more than a year later. But we are seeing a lot of land bookings, a lot of domestic, a lot of Mexico and Caribbean coming in. Hawaii is really picking up a lot, so that's great for our clients. I was looking at our April numbers earlier today, and we are, excuse me, about 1.7 million right now for the month of April. Last month we closed out about 2.5 million. So I think we're on track to be making that in April, if not a little bit closer to 3 million. So it is, I'd sent out an email about the invoicing, and I want to talk to you guys about invoicing as well. Part of my reason for wanting everybody to invoice is, one, for the commission tracking to be accurate and on time and as automated as possible for our accounting staff. But without the invoices in our system, I can't track those sales. And so it is very good for us to be able to have the visibility, not just so that I can report those sales volumes to you guys, but as I'm working with our vendors, or Meredith is working with our vendors, we can see what those sales are. And we have that information then to, if we're going into a negotiation or just a sales call with our vendors. So the more quickly you can do your invoicing and it's in our system, the better. There are limitations, I know, with the different systems. Client base is a great way to invoice because there are no date restrictions with client-based res cards. In the GDS, you do have those date restrictions, and you could have something that you are working on, but it is outside that date parameter for the GDS, so it does cause a challenge then for you to get that invoiced. Meredith had done a series of client-based trainings about 3 or 4 months ago. She's got those recorded, but if anybody is interested in us doing another series of client-based live trainings, we could certainly look at doing that again as well. It's a great system, even for those that are GDS trained. It does give you a leisure-based client profile that you can house some more information in that you may not be able to as easily house in the GDS.
Can I
So,
just say something about the client-based invoicing as well?
yeah.
Another great reason to put it in there is occasionally a vendor, a cruise line, a hotel, a tour company will contact us here because they have a question or there's been a change or whatever, and they don't have the client, the agent invoice info to your email or phone number, or they can't reach you or whatever, and they'll contact us to say, you know, we got a do not honor on the credit card, or we're changing the date, or whatever the reason. And if we don't see it, if it's not been invoiced, if it's not in the system, we don't know who it belongs to either. So, you know, a lot of times you'll just see those emails that we have to send out to say, is this your client? But it would be so much better if you're invoicing, you know, to do it immediately when you make the booking, so that, you know, even if it's just a deposit, to put it in the system so we know who it belongs to.
Thanks, Meredith. Yeah, that is a good point. We do get contacted by the vendors or get notices by the vendors that sometimes it's a confirmation email and it comes through to our general mailbox, and we have to try to locate who the advisor is because we don't see it in our system. So sooner you can invoice, the better for our tracking purposes. Requirement for commission tracking. So we do need that information in the system. Julie does her darndest to get those commissions matched up to everybody. Michelle does an incredible job. They really are working for your benefit. So any help that we can give them on keeping that automated, we want to do that. This week, there's a couple of different things going on. Virtuoso has their Ready, Reset, Go conference starting tomorrow. Actually, I think some of the Globetrotting may have started today. That's going on this week. And then there also is the Rep Fest. And I don't know how many people are attending that, but that is out there as well. I think it's the second year that they have put this on. Unfortunately, it did coincide with the Virtuoso conference, so hopefully, you know, some of you guys are attending that. There's some great reps that have been putting this together, and I saw that the proceeds this year are going to ASTA to support all of their efforts. And just see Jamie Jackson is going to RepFest, so that's great. Sis asked a question about still uncertain about how to invoice or re-invoice canceled and rebooked cruises. So any training on that would be good. Or actually, Meredith, if you have just a quick anecdote for that, that would be great as well.
Not a quick one, no, but
There's nothing cut and dry about cancel and rebooks.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
it's very case by case.
Just the down and dirty of it. If there's payment on the booking, like you invoiced a deposit or there's payment or future credit, it's better to just modify the booking. That way, that invoice, you don't have to cancel the invoice. It remains with the booking. However, if you don't want to do that, you just want to start off fresh, you do have to cancel the invoice with accounting, because otherwise they're sitting there thinking they're expecting money. So you would have to cancel it and then just start a whole new res card. Neither way is wrong. You can do it either way, but I think it's easier really to stay within the original res card and modify it if you can. If there's been no money, no payment, or anything on that booking, just cancel it and start over.
Okay. Thanks, Meredith. Yeah, I know there is every situation seems to be different from the one before, so no clear-cut answer on that, but that's a good guideline to go by. Oh, I see that Teresa is also going to RepFest. That's great. I'm excited for you guys. So I do want to now just kind of open it up. Unless Meredith, did you have any other updates?
The only other update I have is we're going to do a webinar on the Virtuoso Cruise tool. I feel like now that, cruises are beginning to maybe actually depart now, that you're getting questions about cruises, and they're certainly booking. So I thought now would be a timely, um, a good time for us to look at that again. We do know that, eventually you'll be able to do it through Revolex, but right now the Virtuoso Cruise tool is probably your best option. So I'm scheduling not this week, but next week, and I'll be sending that out to everybody. So that's on the Virtuoso Cruise tool.
Very good. Thank you. I think that would be a great training to go through. If you've not seen the Virtuoso Cruise tool, if you don't consider yourself a cruise booking agent, this would be an incredible training for you to go through to see how easy that tool is to navigate, and also just to be able to compare and send out some emails on to your client about some cruise options. It is a great resource. Even for those of you that sell a lot of cruises, but I know that there's many of us that do not sell cruises on a regular basis. So it is an easy one-stop shop place for booking cruises. Allie, did you have any updates from marketing?
I don't this week.
Okay. And I did see your email that you had sent out last week with the updated itineraries. So we now have the Mountain West road trip from J. Ireland that was sent out to everybody, as well as the ones that had been sent out earlier. So keep an eye on those. Remember that those are there. If you have anything that you want to send out to clients or put some marketing pieces together, those are available to you. And Allie can help you if you have any additional questions or are needing to find where those are housed, or she can send them out to you.
If I can just add too, I also added all of the ones that we've sent out in the newsletter, the Advisor Digest newsletter that was just sent out on Friday. So if you're not getting those, please reach out to me and let me know. But they are also all linked on that.
Great. Thank you. And so, we've got about 10 more minutes left before, time is up for this meeting. So I want to just open it up to you guys, see if there's anything else that you had that you wanted to talk about, or if there's anybody that has a sale that they would like to celebrate. We want to be able to take that time to celebrate each other's wins as well. You either unmute yourself or you can jump into the chat.
I have a question about this tax they're thinking of charging on a quote unquote service fee. I mean, if travel agents didn't call it a service fee, why? You don't pay a tax when you call an accountant or a lawyer or anything, right?
Right. Yeah. So I think that's why this is a bit unprecedented. It's not, most times when you are charging a service, or you as a consumer are charged for a service, the service is not taxable. But this is something that they are looking to consider service fees by travel agencies part of the product that the consumer is purchasing. So if you are selling an airline ticket with a car rental, a hotel, or a cruise, anything that you are selling to a consumer, they would consider the service fee as part of that package, as part of that product that they're buying, although they're not buying that product from you. They're buying that product directly from the vendor. So it doesn't really make sense why they would be doing this, but Texas has presented it.
How did it come about? I mean, how do they even think this stuff up?
That's a good question.
I mean, because really you can call it a consulting fee. Sometimes people call and you charge them a fee and they don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
They cancel an airline ticket. I mean, so it's not related at all. There's got to be a way to get around that. I mean, it's just
so,
mind-boggling.
they are fighting this. That I was reading the article, and there's not a whole lot of information as to the logistics of how this would be done. Just that fee would be subject to sales tax, and so that would complicate Texas agencies' taxes and having to report those and be taxed on them. Yeah, states need to look into the hotel resort fees and the hidden fees that are not within the base price. And that would be more than what they would be looking at and taxing us. So I don't know what all they're looking at in this. This article was just as it relates to the fees that agencies charge, and that it would become part of the sales taxable items. Also the new COVID fees, yeah. And so, and I think that that's something that we'll, continue to see different bills being presented as different states are looking at ways to create more taxes and generate more money. They're going to be looking at different things. Yeah, I really don't know why travel agent fees is one that they think they're going to make a whole lot of money on. That's not a place that we're making a huge amount of money on. But there are a lot of different ways for people to be causing fees. I hope they never get rid of resort fees, because people to come to us over OTAs because of the all-in-one pricing. It's confusing for consumers, makes it easier for us to do our jobs. So there are a lot of things that to be considered in what needs to be disclosed in bookings as well. There are the requirements with the notice of code-share flights, and that you have to advise your client of the operating carrier. We do that on our itineraries, but there are lots that are not included, and I think there will be a larger push as well for us as the travel advisors to make sure that we are notifying people of all of these surcharges and add-ons, and it's hard to keep track of everything that they are putting in place. Diane just said they put a surcharge for cleaning and turnovers. Just saw on a Turk's trip, excuse me, they put in both places, just another silly tax. Yeah, it's interesting when you get a base fare that is lower than all of the taxes added in and surcharges added in, and it now doubles the cost of a trip because of all those added fees. But all of those should be disclosed somewhere for your client. It's hard with the resort fees. You don't always know that. Sometimes they're kind of hidden in there as well. David, I wanted to have a conversation with you about what you experienced with the bed banks and Hyatt, because I did get your email on Friday, and so I wanted to talk with you about that. Are you talking like bookings.com or hotels.com? And we have had a couple of instances where hotels have reached out directly to the clients when there was a modification, and kind of eliminated the advisor in the whole dealings. So we definitely do want to know about those, and so that the properties are not going and undercutting their prices and pricing us out of the booking. So bed banks is an actual, okay, I thought you were referring to a group of vendors as bed banks. So hang on a second. Let me see if I can unmute you, David. I cannot unmute you. That's interesting. Normally I can just click on you and unmute you. Oh, that's probably it. So yeah, if you're not able to unmute that, I can't control that on my side. But I will have a follow-up conversation with you, David, just to talk through that and see what it is you're seeing, because I don't know that I have all of the information at this point to be giving you an answer on that question. Ah, now I can hear you.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go. No, so there's this thing that I came across while doing a NIZC booking, and a guy sends me over a quote for Snap Travel, and it's like, I think the online booking was $2,100, and the actual rate he was being charged by Snap Travel was like $1,200, and I was like, that's crazy. It must be a scam. But I mean, Snap Travel's kind of big. They're, funded by private equity. Did some research on them. I mean, they have some customer service issues, but generally speaking, they make it through. The reservations. And the client actually called and confirmed the hotel with the hotel that it was real. So a friend of mine was texting me, and he's like, oh, I'm like, how is this even possible? Because I called over to the hotel, and they're like, we won't match that rate. We don't even have that rate. And what there's organizations doing, large ones, it's called bed banking. So they apparently buy a ton of rooms up front from the hotel at some sort of discounted rate. One of the companies is called Hotel Beds that does it. And apparently they absorb all the risk from the hotel's, revenue managers, and basically buy the rooms and then sell it back to travel agents as net rates, which you then mark up. I'm wondering if we have an affiliation with any bed banks. It's kind of like almost like an air consolidator, but for hotel rooms.
Yeah.
That we work with, like Hotel
Well,
Beds or
and we
Bonatel,
don't in a direct other than like through Classic Vacations or where they have their own direct contracted rate with the hotel, and then they're reselling it to us. So it would be similar to how any of our wholesale partners are working. They may not actually purchase that, but they do have a negotiated rate with the property that then they are selling to us when they were doing a bundled package.
I think, excuse me a minute, I could be wrong on this, but I want to say that Beds Online, formerly Travel Bound, is part of the hotel, what you're talking about, David, Hotel Beds. Is that the name of it? I think there's some way affiliated with that. But with Beds Online, you can go in. They don't sell it back to us at a net rate. There is, whatever their contracted rate is. But I will say it doesn't work well for groups because they may only have a few rooms at a time that they've, negotiated that rate for. So it doesn't work so well with rates.
For leisure.
Yeah,
right?
Well, I mean, just for an individual, you could always check with them because they do have pretty good rates. And I do think in some form or fashion, I think they are a part of Hotel Beds because I've seen something on their site or in their disclaimer or something about it.
I mean, apparently we as an agency can sign up for this somehow. I don't know if it works just like Classic would sign up or something. But I'd be very curious to see because, I mean, some of the OTAs, I mean, I have a friend that's plugged into like Hotel Beds that I've been sending stuff over to him to just get quoted back. And I mean, some of this stuff is 40, 50, 60% off. And then you can net it up 30%, and the client's still saving 30% off of what they would find online. So, I don't know if it's just a new trend or a new thing that we have to kind of catch on to, or if this is really kind of getting into the, weeds of travel. But, it was a new idea to me, and I'm like, wow, okay. So.
Yeah, we can look at it as an agency if that is something that would be beneficial to us. But, if it is, just like going through Beds Online, only they're giving it to us with a
it might be
a
it might be
markup
fine that way,
already
you know?
instead of as a net rate.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I had a Beds Online login a while ago. If you want to make me a new one, this is probably not for this call though. So.
Okay.
But
Yeah, we can follow up on that.
Okay.
Thanks, David. There is an update that I'm working on with TravelX. I do not have a whole lot of information on it just yet, or the finalized on it just yet. It's with the group policies. They're making some adjustments to how they're doing the group policies, and we're in the process of working through that right now. It sounds like what we will be doing is that it would be a group rate that would be payable by the group, not individuals. And then the group would be paid by the agency, and then as a net and with a markup. And so a few different changes on that. As I get more information and how-tos, I'll let you know, but that is something that is coming for our group bookings. If you are going to have groups that the individuals are going to pay per policy, then that would really not qualify as a group policy. That would then be done as a Travel Select or one of the other Travel X policies, standard policies. And Cheryl just copied in a link for Travel Bound. So 30% discount on Travel Bound hotels when booked through the agent travel for personal. Oh, is that booked for personal agent travel? So not for client travel, but for the agent to travel. Okay. So get a discount for ourselves. But yeah, David, we'll follow up on that. Hey, any other questions or comments? All right, well, next week, Mike and Josh will be joining us to give us an update on kind of where the agency is and how we're doing getting into or finishing out first quarter and starting in second quarter. So join us next week and we'll get that update from Mike and Josh. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.